Electrostatics, methods of charging, in how many ways we can charge a body. The first method is by friction. You just take two different objects, or even you can take two similar objects and then just rub it. Because of rubbing, because of your mechanical energy, the atoms will gain energy. The electrons which are revolving will gain energy. So, once the atoms gains energy, atoms vibrates much faster. They collide with other atoms. They quarrel with other atoms. In this process, the loosely bound electrons which are revolving around the nucleus will gain energy, some of the energy, and it will just come out. So, those electrons will move from one body to other body. So, who will gain electrons? Who will lose the electrons now? Because of atomic nature, because of atomic size, this process may depend. For example, if you have a small atom, let us say, where positively charged nucleus attracts electrons much stronger way. With a lot of force of attraction, electrons will be bound to the atom, which means smaller atoms don't lose electrons very easily. They attract the electrons from larger atoms. In larger atoms, what happens? You have a proton at the center, and electrons will revolve in different orbits. The furthermost orbit will not strongly bound to the nucleus. Then what happens? The atom is easily lose the electrons. So, in that way, so when you rub two materials like glass rod, silk cloth, for example, the traditional one you heard from 6th class, because of rubbing you are giving energy, because of mechanical energy, electrons from one object will travel to other objects. So, in here the glass rod will lose electrons and the silk cloth will gain the electrons. So, by rubbing like this, one object purely became a positive charge, the other object became the negatively charged. So, just by rubbing like this, you can have a glass rod with a negatively charged. Next method is by conduction. So, just now we have seen previously you have a glass rod which is positively charged. So, maybe I will just draw like this. Let us say I have a positively charged glass rod. Now, take a metallic sphere, just attach to a metallic sphere. Now, what happens here? I have more positively charged. In a sphere, I have equal positive and negative charges. So many I will have. So, this positively charged body now from this positive charge will transfer to the metallic sphere. Actually, what happens here is, if you bring this positively charged object to a metallic sphere where you have both positive and negatives equally, what happens is the electrons which are much lighter will travel from sphere to the rod. Why? Because attractive force, these are all positive, this is you have positive and negative, and these electrons are attracted by the positive charge, so they will go away, which means what left out here? Positive charge. So, in that way, so when you touch a charged body to other metallic sphere or metallic objects, the charge whatever you have will be transferred. This is charging of a body by conduction. And now, what you can do is, so you have a charged body right now, you have a positively charged body like this. Take one more neutral metallic body where you have both positives and negatives, and just connect with this with a conducting wire. Then you know what happens? So, here in this you have both positive, negative. So, these electrons will travel actually like this, the arrow is opposite. the electrons will travel from neutral body to positive charged body. Neutral body to positive charged body, which means some of the electrons happily travel. So, which means you don't have here negative anymore. So, you will becomes positive. So, by taking few electrons here, some of the charges will nullify, but the total here still you have positive charge, which means compared to previously now the number will be reduced, but still you have two objects which are positively charged. Of course, you should take away the conducting wire or something like that. So, like this you can transfer the electrons and you can charge your body with the help of conduction. Next, you have something called induction, charging a body with induced, you can induce a charge in a body. For how is this possible? Let us say I have positive negative charged body. I have a neutral body where I have both positives and negatives. Now I will bring a positive body here, let us say a glass rod or anything, an object where I have positivity. Now here more positive charge, here you have both positive or negative charges. Because of this positive charge, immediately what happens is all charges will split now. So, previously plus or minus you have, now because of this positive charge, all negative charges will come one side, all positive charges will be the other side. They will split into two regions of negative and positive charges. And now if you take away this, immediately again this positive negative again mix together and again it becomes a neutral body. So, in order to continue this, what we can do is two things we can do. The first thing is connect this one to another metallic body. So, if you have a metallic body, as I said, you have equal number of positive negative charges. Then what happens? The electrons from this body will transfer to this side, which means if electrons comes here, this region will nullify and this will becomes positive. Of course, not all, to some extent. And now you cut the wire. And then what happens here? So, you have total now, what is the total charge here? So, this is nullified charge region, you do not have plus or minus, but here you have minus, which means altogether this becomes negatively charged body. And the other one, few charges are, few electrons came here. So, the total charge is now becomes positive. So, like this, by induced a charge, by separating charges left side, right side, you can, by conducting a wire, you can separate charges like this. This is one method. The other method is instead of connecting a wire, let us say you do not have any wire or anything like that. So, you just connect this to the earth. Earth is a huge reservoir. It have both positive charges and negative charges. So, now what happens? So, here previously before how I used to have charges, previously here I have all positive charges. Okay. So, previously I have here positive charges. So, these positive charges attracts electrons from the earth, So, now all electrons will come here and they nullify the charges here. So, which means this becomes a neutral region. And now take out this cable and then what happens all together? So, this again all electrons will be distributed in the metallic body. Why they should distribute? Why can't they stay in one place, you may ask me? Because electrons repel electrons, they quarrel each other always. So, that is why immediately they will not be in one region, immediately they will move in all different regions because of atomic vibrations and so on, of course. So, this is the third method where you can charge a body. Now, thermionic emission. Thermo means temperature. temperature, you increase a metal. Metal will have very big number of electrons. I think approximately 10 to the power of 28 free electrons per meter cube, I guess. Rough estimation, may not be exact. What do you mean by that? It means that if you take 1 meter cube of a metal, it will have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 electrons. Where if you take 1 meter cube of metal. So these many free electrons, not all electrons. There will be many electrons which are bound to the nucleus. Free electrons means the outermost electrons which are not strongly bound to the nucleus are called free electrons. As these are not strongly bound, they won't stick to the nucleus, but they just come out whenever there is a chance, whenever they get minimum energy because of vibrations, because of additional energies, immediately they will come out from the metal. So thermionic, here I am giving energy with the help of heat. So by giving heat energy, atoms will vibrate more, and few electrons will gain that energy and they just come out. So this method is called as thermionic emission. So take any metal, just heat it, send current through it. You know, when you send current through a metal, the metal will get heat and it becomes very warm and like a filament, electrons will be ejected. So long back, when we have these dabba TVs, nowadays we have this LED TVs and so on. But when you are a small kid, so probably you might have observed the dabba TVs, dabba PCs, personal computer screens. So there they used to have this kind of stream of electrons where they fall on a screen and they give you scintillations. They give that's how you get the bright screen kind of. Okay. However, that method is very dangerous because some of the electrons will pass through the screen and fall on your eyes, which is very dangerous. So that's why technology changed and so on. So finally, electrons will be emitted with the help of heat. This is called thermionic emission. Photoelectric effect. So as I said, every metal will have electrons, many free electrons. Now give energy with the help of light. Light. Just give heat energy, give energy from the light. It may be infrared, it may be ultraviolet, whatever it may be, depending on the metallic nature. So if you give sufficient energy to the metal, so which is required for electron to come out from the metal. So if you give minimum energy or the minimum energy required to come out for these electrons in a metal, so they come out. So photoelectrons, the electrons coming because of light. That's why it's a photoelectron. All solar panels right now, sensors use this idea, photoelectric effect. The next one, field emission. What do you mean by field emission? Take a metallic block or something like that, where you have all the charges plus minus. Now what you do is apply the field. What do you mean by field? You just have two plates. One plate is positive charge. How you get this positive charge? Just connect to a positive potential, polarity, and the other one is connect to a negative potential. So I have positive, negative like this. Now what happens? Positive will attract electrons from here. Positive attracts all electrons from here, right? And of course negative attracts this or negative repel electrons, which means they push this way only. So all electrons will come this way. Anyway, protons cannot come out, so they will stay in the metal itself as ions, but electrons can be pulled out. As they are lighter in mass, they easily can pulled out by applying potential difference. So this kind of charging of a body or this kind of taking out of electrons from a body is called as field emission. What is this field? Electric field, which you learn later. So by applying plus and minus, you are pulling away electrons. So this is once electrons are coming out from this object or a body, what it becomes? It becomes positively charged body. It becomes a positively charged body. As electrons are pulled away, of course, few neutral objects will be there. So like this, the object can become a positively charged body by applying electric field. In these methods, like this kind, so many methods we have to charge a body.